Hey everybody, it's my first ever YouTube video, so it's going to be a little rough around the edges, but I pray that you guys bear with me, because I feel like I have something inside of me that can change the world. My name is Jonathan Garner. Everybody calls me John. I'm from a small town in North Alabama called Glencoe, Alabama, outer skirts of Gadsden, Alabama. I am an employee of United States Steel, proud union member, entrepreneur, business owner as well. Just getting started in that space of being an entrepreneur. I bring this video to you guys because I feel like I have something inside of me that can really help shape the world to be a better place for us to live in, for our kids to grow up in. Because I've been through some things. Whether it was me putting myself in those situations or the life just happening around me, I feel like that I made it out the other side. Don't get me wrong, I'm still learning. There's still adversity, there's still trials and tribulations to come to my life. That's just life. Kind of, it goes back to that saying, what can happen will happen. But I believe every day if we wake up in a positive mindset and tell ourselves that, hey, today's going to be the best day of my life, that this is going to be the best day ever, and stop getting into all the negativity and all the wrong crap that's going on in the world every morning when we wake up. To wake up and spend 30 minutes of just us and God and ourselves and really tapping into our inner self, our, whether you call it meditation or Bible study, Bible time, like whatever you decide to call it. I really feel like that we need to wake up every single morning and give this space and time, to connect back to the Creator. What I want to bring to you guys today is something that happened to me over the last several months of my life that I really feel like they can bring a positive mindset to somebody, to give somebody hope and understanding that, hey, that there is a God, and that He loves us and He cares about us, and He don't call for anybody to live in poverty or to be poor. On the other hand, He does call for us to work hard and to do the right things that we're supposed to do in our life. But at the same time, I believe with all that I am that God does not call us to be poor. He calls us to have dominion over our life and the things that's in our life. And that's biblical, that's scriptures, that's in Genesis, chapter 1 actually. So that being said, over the last several months, about 6 months ago, my wife and I decided we were going to open a business. That we weren't going to let nothing or nobody stop us from creating a business, from building a brand, and giving back to our community in all of it. So August of last year, we kind of hit it hard and heavy. We decided to open a daycare. So I got out and I started looking for a building. I searched and searched and searched and searched and searched, like literally searched and searched and searched for a building, and found several, and it's either way too much or a dump, or needed way too much remodeling to turn into a daycare, or but I never gave up looking for a building. So I was riding through a little city that was close to where we live at, called Rainbow City, Alabama. And I was driving by and saw a big old for rent sign out in front of this little smaller, a commercial-based property. It's a house, but it's commercially zoned. I pulled in and grabbed the number and called the lady and asked her if she could meet with me. And of course, the lady that she is, she said, sure, I can be there here shortly. So I sit there, I waited on her, Bedwell is her name. Miss Anita comes storming into my life that day and forever altered the course of my family's life. So when I say there's a God, when I'm telling you there is a God and He loves us very much, that's the truth of it. And now I'm going to tell you how and why I feel that way. Anita, it was like I'd known her my whole life. From the time I met her till now, she is the greatest lady that I've ever met in my entire life. Like, literally, hands down, a God-sent angel into my family and I's life that has forever altered the course of our life. So going into all this, back in August, we had a couple investors lined up, because we ain't that we have horrible credit, we just had our credits maxed. You know, like, been a down year for us and a lot of the country, and so I'd lined up a couple of investors. I'd sold them on the idea of opening a daycare and giving back and everything that my wife and I wanted to accomplish, and they were on board with it in the beginning. And then after finding the building, about a week into the project, both my investors backed out. Like, literally the same day, backed out, said we can't help you, whether they got scared or didn't really understand what I had going on or what have you. They both backed out on me. Coffee's good. So anywho, I didn't want to give up on it, because Anita, being the lady she was, she told me in the very beginning, hey, I know how hard it is to get your start in life. I know that it's going to take a lot to prepare this building into flipping it into a daycare. Here's the keys. Take your time. We'll worry about a lease later. So literally, I spent the next month and a half, almost 2 months, trying to find another investor for our business. And literally could not find nobody. I mean, nobody. I asked anybody and everybody if they would invest with me and my wife, and every last one of them said no. Every one of them said no. And that didn't stop me. It come about the second or third week of September, Miss Anita had texted me and said, hey, where are you guys at? And I said, hey, we're headed in the right direction. Like we're getting close, bear with us. She said, well, that's great. Let's shoot for the first week of October, signing your lease. So, first week of October rolled around. I was working evening shift out at the mill. And it's when things kind of started to I'm like, okay, God, it's down to the wire. She's wanting us to sign a lease. We still haven't found an investor. What is it you're trying to show me in this? Like, what do I need to do, God? Please help. Like, please, God, help. Like, so I literally, she called me, I think it was Monday or Tuesday of the first week of October, said, hey, when do you want to get together, sign your lease? And I was like, hey, I'm working evening shift this week. I'm having to work a few hours. I kind of procrastinated and put her off. I said, well, let's shoot for Friday. I work out Thursday night, So literally all week I'll double down on asking anybody, everybody. I'm talking about my kids' softball games, strangers. I even got to a point, guys, I went door to door in rich neighborhoods trying to find somebody to invest and take a chance on my wife and I. And our dream that we were trying to achieve. And when I say, guys, not one person would help us, not one single person even would entertain the idea of opening a business with me and my wife. So literally, Friday rolls around, I tell her that I'm at work, and I'm so sorry, Anita, if you see this, I won't lie to you. I shouldn't have, and I apologize for that, and I beg God to forgive me. But I wasn't ready to give up, because I had the weekend off, and I was like, hey, it's one last hoorah, and trying to find somebody to invest with my wife and I. I'm not giving up on this. God, I know that you've called me to do this. I know this is the plan you have for my life. I'm not giving up. So the weekend rolled around, and literally, I probably asked 200 people, and they all told me no. And that's where you hear a lot of the especially with Ed Mylett. Big shout out to Ed Mylett. I'll get into this later on, but Ed Mylett, you have forever changed the course of my life, my mindset, my body, my mentality. You and Andy Frisella are amazing. I really look up to you guys. I cannot wait to meet y'all someday. Share a space on stage with y'all. It'd be an absolute honor to meet you guys. But anyways, you know, I used to hear Ed say, you know, he's the one that took all the no's. So I literally took all those no's over the course of the weekend, and I'm sitting in my chair Sunday afternoon, super down, super depressed, super not knowing what I'm going to do. So I start praying, because you always hear that saying, like, you know, let go and let God. Let God handle it. You know, just give it to God, fully give it to God, and don't worry about it anymore. Well, in that moment, I start praying, and I'm like, God, I've done everything humanly possible I know to do. I don't know what else to do, God, so I'm literally putting this in your hands. If it is meant to be, God, you will find a way for my wife and I to open a business and start this adventure for our life. If it's in your will, God, your will be done in my and my whole family's life. And I'm giving this fully to you. And in that moment, I knew what it was like to fully hand something over to God, because I had this peace come over me, like it was all going to be okay. And so as soon as I got done praying, I texted Anita and I said, hey, Miss Anita, I said, can you meet my wife and I at the building in the morning at 9 o'clock? Anita being Anita, I will be there. So we wake up, my wife and the kids, we all get ready, we all go over there. I'm super down, I'm super like overthinking all of it, and I get out, we're all standing outside, and I start giving Miss Anita the spiel on everything that we had been through, and everything that we had went through over the course of the last couple of months, and I ask her, you know, I just plead on her mercy, and in that moment, I'm telling you with all my heart, Miss Anita actually got upset, my wife and I, because we hadn't already come to her and asked her for the help. In the very beginning, she told me that she knew how hard it was to get started in life, and that somebody from her church helped her and her husband get that start in their life. And the way she worded it in the beginning is, if there's anything that my husband and I can do, let us know and we'll help you. Well, I didn't really like people say that, but like she really meant it literally, because when I'm telling you, Miss Anita actually got upset that we hadn't already come to her and asked her for the help. She said, once again, she told me, she said, John, somebody from our church in my younger years helped my husband and I get our start in this life, and I want to pay that forward to you and your wife. And I'm like, mind blown. I am like filled with joy, filled with tears of joy. Like I'm literally smiling and crying. Like, oh my God! Like, thank you so much, God. This is an answered prayer. This is like everything that I've been searching for the last couple of months. God, thank you so much for showing up and showing out in my life once again. And when I say Miss Anita went nonstop for a month and a half to help us prep our building, to help us get it ready, to help get it to a point where we can open, Miss Anita done everything that she said she would do. She don't know me. She don't know my wife. She just knows what I believe in. She could feel God's presence every time I've ever talked to her. And that's why it's so important to when you stand up, when you call yourself a Christian, when you call yourself a godly person, to not just live by faith, but to walk by faith too. We have to walk in our faith. We have to live it, breathe it, taste it, smell it, every part of our being, walk in faith. Because you never know when that one person comes along and is going to feel God's presence inside of you that's spilling out. Because that's what Miss Anita has went on. She felt God's presence in me through it, my actions, through the way I word, like the way I talk to her, with every part of me, she could feel God's presence. And she, being the godly woman that she was, she picked up on that and decided to take a chance on my wife and I. And I am forever, forever, forever grateful for her. So don't give up. There's always hope. So many people won't ever take that initial step to just get out and do and try. I promise you, I probably had I kid you not, I'm not exaggerating, I probably had over 350 something no's people telling me, no, 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 no. And then the last person that I ever expected to help me was the lady that actually owned the building and took a chance on my wife and I. She took a chance on me, on my wife, on my family. And that's the most amazing feeling any person or any human can ever have. So guys, like when I'm telling you that God's real and He can show up and show out in your life, that is not the only way that He blessed my wife and I that morning. Believe it or not, like when I say He showed up and showed out, we finally get done talking that morning with Miss Anita, and we start like you know, we start hugging it out. We're saying our goodbyes and really feeling good about what just happened. You know, my wife had a doctor's appointment that morning, so I'm carrying the kids home that morning. It's my last day off work. I wanted to cook breakfast for them. I swing in the dollar store by my house, the Dollar General by my home. And because I wanted to make the kids pancakes. They've been begging me all weekend to make pancakes, but we had softball tournaments, you know, church, just a lot going on. And I finally, you know, had a freed up morning after we got done with Miss Anita to go home and make my kids pancakes. So me and the kids, we run in the dollar store. Like normally when I go in the dollar store or any other building I go into, you know, like most of the time if it's sunny outside, I got my sunglasses on. Well, that particular morning, I decided to leave my sunglasses on because I'm still crying. Tears of joy, tears of happiness. I'm like super, like psyched out for God in that moment. So I'm still crying, but I'm smiling, the biggest smile a human being could ever have on their face. And one of the softball moms, her name's Mallory, she works at the dollar store. Like, she noticed something going on, like, different about me, because I didn't, for one, like anybody that knows me, I always take my glasses off when I go inside somewhere. I either put them on my hat, wear them around my neck. And in that morning, she knew something was different, and finally, like, she could see me wiping the tears off my face and smiling the biggest smile. So finally, she just come up to me and asked me, hey, are you okay? What's going on with you? And I told her what God had just done for my family. And about this time, I look over, and she's in tears, too. I told her everything that God had just done. She's like, look, you know, me and my husband, we've been looking to move some money around. And we would love the opportunity to help you guys. Like, how can we help? How can we help y'all? How can we give back? And I said, well, hey, look, you know, Miss Anita, you know, with everything that she's doing, she said that she would take care of all the big stuff. But you know, we need money for stuff. You know, like cots for kids to lay on, or coloring books, or toys, or you know, when you go through DHR opening a daycare, you got to have all these specific lists of stuff that you got to have just to open one. So literally when I say, she's like, well, how much do you think that would cost you? And I said, well, $15,000, $20,000. And she said, well, listen, you know, let's figure out a way to drop some paperwork and you know, I'll give you $15,000 to help you out to get you guys started. And I'm like, I'll start really crying then, you know, I'm like really in tears. Like, wow, God, you show up and show out. Like, oh my God, like I've been stressed out for the last 2 months trying to make this happen, and then all in one morning, after giving it fully to you, God, you literally show up and show out in every aspect, and everything that I've been praying for, God, you show up and show out in an hour and a half. Like, literally, it's not on our time, it's on God's time. As long as we do our part. And I really believe that God saw me doing my part. He saw me trying. I wasn't being lazy. I got out and took the nose. But He also saw somebody that wasn't giving up, that was resilient in everything that I was doing, trying to get her business off the ground. And I really believe God saw that. So literally, when I say like Mallory, you would never know this woman has money. Like, she don't walk like she's got money. She don't talk like she's got money. She don't drive like she's got money. But Miss Mallory is worth millions of dollars and works at the dollar store for something to do. So you never know when God's going to send somebody your way, or when, or how, or literally you could be at the store, at a convenience store, or at the dollar store like I was, or at Walmart. You never know when God's going to show up and show out in your life and bless you to the fullest extent. And that's what God did that morning. He showed up and showed out in my life within a few hours. Months of praying, months of of doing everything that human possible that I thought God would want me to do. I did it. And literally, when I fully gave it to God, when I said, God, I can't do it on my own, when I really give it to God, like you have to really give it to God and you have to stand on it. You have to say, okay, God, no matter what happens, I'm giving this to you, God. If it's your will for my life, then you'll find a way to make it happen. And that's what I did. I fully gave it to God. I fully said, okay, God, you've got this. If this is if this is the will for my life and my family, then you will find a way. And I gave it fully to Him. And then He shows up and shows out. There's so many times in our life, guys, that's all God's waiting on, is for you to fully give it to Him. And that's what I did. I fully give it to God. To God, your will be done in my life. If it's meant to be, then you will find a way. And I am forever grateful for that. I wake up to that every morning saying, God, thank you so much for all that you've blessed me with. Because it just ain't this, guys. I've really been through some things in my life that would blow your mind, and I made it out the other end. But it was by God's grace that I did that. So guys, I'm telling you, don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Because if it's meant to happen, God will find a way to make it happen. Sorry guys, there's a cop right here. I turned the light off. Guys, I'm telling you, by God's grace, He showed up and showed out in my life. And He can do the same for you guys. You have to give it to Him. You have to say, God, no matter what, I'm giving this to you. If it's your will for my life, then He'll find a way if it's meant to be. And He did that for me. He can do it for you. Guys, that's all I got for today. I'd like to close this video out by saying a short prayer. Can't really close my eyes. But God, I pray to you this day that whoever watches this is blessed with some semblance of hope because of the things that you've done for my life. And I pray, God, that you just bless over the people that watch this video, that you guide and direct them. God, if it's something that they're in need of, that you bless them with it. And if they're sick, God, you heal their bodies, you heal their mind. God, I pray for the sick, the afflicted, the addicted, God. Just pray, God, that you just guide and direct them home, that you guide and direct them to you, that you guide them to a better path, God. And I just pray, God, with all my heart, that you bless over the world we live in. You bless over the leaders, our country. Our country is in desperate need of more of you. So I pray that in Jesus' name, God, you bless over the world, you bless over the United States of America. In Jesus' name.